So for the intro for this video, I thought it'd be kind of fun to show you guys generally how I do the photos for these guys, at least for when I'm doing outdoor settings, is I have this little mat. I can't remember if I made a video on how I put this together, but a lot of it's like train trees, foliage you can get for that. A couple of the trees are randomly broken because I've had this thing for probably about a good year now. And a couple of these are snapped off from me just moving it around all the time. I kind of got to glue them back together, but it still works for the purposes of photography anyways, because it's nice to have like the tree looking like it's knocked over randomly, what have you. But you'll see, especially at the end of the videos, and honestly probably for the thumbnail too, is he has this propeller. He doesn't come with this. This actually came from the Playmates Kong figure from Skull Island. So if you guys would like to get this for your figure, because to be honest, it's nice because you can hold it perfectly. And then the chain honestly doesn't look that bad, and you can kind of wrap it around his arm, as you can see how I kind of have it here. So if you want to have him posing with honestly a solid looking propeller, because I think that was the one thing when we reviewed it a while back that I really liked, is that it came with this thing. And it's awesome that you can use it with him. So you have the tree to beat up your skull crawlers, you can have the propeller. Oh, good times, man. Good times to be a kaiju collector. So, I don't know how hard it is to get a hold of him, that or as of this recording anyways, I don't think it's that hard of a figure to get a hold of, so now's probably the best time as any to try to get a hold of one of these, and especially for a pretty cheap price, because this was like, what, 10-15 bucks to get the figure? I'd pay 10-15 bucks just to have this accessory added. Like if I was gonna make one of these to sell in the Etsy shop, honestly it'd probably be more. But anyways, happy hunting, Rangers, and onto the review. Listen up, Rangers, welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve, and today in this review we have the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Kong Skull Island figure of Kong. Really excited to have this because don't actually have really a good representation of this guy really anywhere. It's like Playmates. Playmates might be the closest one. Because we had the lantern ones back in the day, but those were... they're fine. We have Playmates. There's a band. Is there even a Bandai vinyl now that I think about it? Because I just know specifically there's the Playmates because there's the big one. There was a smaller one. I don't even remember if there's actually, like I said, a Bandai vinyl of this thing. So it's really, and then there was like that 3D printed one that came out a while back that was, well, we won't get into that here about what happened with that thing. So it's cool to have like something authentic that goes with the film. So I'm really pumped, and also I want to thank Kowkis Toys for sending us this figure. Really awesome of them to give us a review sample. And if you guys like to pick this up after the video, link in the description for KowkisToys.com. You can save 6% off your order. Code SteveKowkis at checkout. They do free shipping and are also much cheaper, and it's about the same speed as if you were to buy them directly from Hiya, but it's much cheaper because, again, it has free shipping. And they get it just around the same time. And you'll get it also much sooner than pretty much any stateside site. Actually, any stateside site. You'll have it pretty much before any of them. Even get them in, let alone get them to you. Anyways, for the actual figure in the box here, got Kong roaring on the front. He's got the tree with the broken branches. You get I like the nice like police profile shot on here. You got him roaring on the side of the box, back of the package, some more roaring, some Eagle Mumbo Jumbos, him just kind of standing there menacingly, and some Kong on the bottom. So anyways, let's get him opened up out of its cardboard prison. Alright, so now that we got Kong opened up out of its cardboard prison, first and foremost, let's see, I've kind of messed with it, because a couple of the accessories are a bit swapped around. I did some pictures on Instagram not too long ago when this guy first came in. And finally getting around to doing the review. I was hoping to get Arnes here, but the way things have been working out lately, just haven't been able to get him over here yet. So I want to get this one done because, again, this was sent in to us kindly, so I want to try to get this out relatively promptly. And we got some other stuff to review. We still got that Monster Art 72 that just came in too. That'll be a fun one. But anyways, for his accessories that he comes with, he has 2 heads, which you'll see currently on the figure. I have the optional roaring head, which looks really good. The overall like color scheme for Kong is of a dark brown with some black undertones. And he's got the slash scar on the chest here. You get the same thing going on the face, where you can see the black for the skin, the brown for the fur. Teeth look really good with the bone coloring there. Got the pink tongue, super pink cheeks, eyes hard to see because they blend in, because his eyes are also brown with a black pupil. So they're probably my one nitpick I really have about the paint job on this guy is just, like I said, it's really hard to really see where he's looking on this guy. And maybe it would have been nice to have a lighter base pupil and then the dark, just so they stand out a little bit better. But you also get the clenching teeth was what came on the figure. But sculpted really good. You can see the hair's got a lot of nice definition. You have the ears on the side, which actually have holes in them. Nose looks good. Like I said, it looks like Skull Island Kong, which is really all you can really ask for. Because I don't know why, but it always just seems like everybody just has an issue trying to get a good sculpt for Kong here. Swapping out the joints can be a bit of a pain. Usually recommend using some heat with it. Now, the one thing I would say, in terms of the way the movie is, because when you see him standing, he kind of has a more Sasquatchy kind of look to it. Well, this is still really gorilla looking. Just upright. And I kind of wish that he had more going on with the neck here. Like the neck was maybe a little longer so he could have his head a little bit more up instead of forward and slouching down a little bit. I think it would give him the correct posture. Because for the most part, he's kind of set up more in like a battle pose. And then you get the articulation for it. And I maybe want to like to see like this cut back here have been like lower, and then the head a little bit more towards the back. And I could be able to shift it down more in this position. I think would have looked really cool. Because the way he's set up, it kind of gives me more like GVK vibes with the way the positioning is than a younger Kong. The other nitpick I got about this figure, and I think it's more having to do with the way they cut the body, more so than the actual sculpt, but he just looks kind of thick. You can see here, he's kind of got some love handles going on. From the side though, and this is where I say, I think it's the joint cutting, because from the side, that looks good. That looks like how it did in the movie. Enjoy that. But because you have the ball joints here for the shoulder, and then they have that cut here, it just, instead of it going up and then into the arm, shoulders coming out, you have it dip in and then go up, which really kind of helps to round out the stomach area there. And I think they could have maybe still slimmed this down a little bit going along the side here to make it a little bit more movie accurate. But still not bad. Like I said, it's still got that gorilla appearance. It's just not quite correct for the film. One thing though that I do love about this figure, because I'll be honest, I think the GVK one is probably, between the Kongs, I think the GVK one still looks closer to the Kong from the film. This one, like I said, with the way the stomach's a bit thicker than the neck posturing, it doesn't quite as well represent the film for me as I would like to. But the one thing that's really a nice benefit for this thing is the articulation. The articulation on this thing is exponentially better than the first Hiya Kong that we got. And it's mainly having to do with these butterfly joints here for the shoulders. Because you can actually shift the arm back and forth. He can actually bend his arm in all the way and touch his chest. If you want him double holding something, it is a possibility. Well, with the GVK Kong, that's a no. It's not happening in the least. Because for the most part, everything else is about the same. But you get really nice back and forth crunch. We're kind of going all over with this review. Arms can go up and down. Like I said, you can shift them forward, back, rotation of the bicep. It's got the double jointed elbow. Hands can rotate and around a ball joint, so you get a lot of play there. The head, like I said, is probably the weakest part. But you can get them looking up really high. And then pretty much forward facing, you can't really get them looking down without having to... Actually, you just can't really get them looking down at all. But you can go side to side with the head. Legs can do a full splits. Complimentary upskirt shot. Legs can go down. And then they actually shift up and down too. And he's got double jointed knees. Feet can go... Not too... Okay, there we go. So not too many directions. Side to side, forward and back. Nice forward kick and back kick because it has that shift. Something similar to like what you see with like Figmas and figure arts. Which I do appreciate that. Again, wide range of posability on this. And like I said, it's got a lot of really nice sculpted detailing. And it works really well for the Skull Island look. It's just not perfect. But I think in terms of what's available on the market, I don't think you're going to get too much better. I know I've seen some people that will get this and swap the heads out on the Monster Arts, because the Monster Arts has the slimming sides for the GVK Kong. But the GVK Kong, like, it's very stylized. It's a good figure, but stylized. But this head on that figure, it kind of gives you a little bit better Skull Island vibes. And like I said, it's just mainly because like the way they cut it, I think they should have slim this down a bit. But then again, it's also like with the legs though, because if you slim this down, then it makes the articulation here kind of weird, and then the legs would have to be more scrunched together. Because I think they're kind of going with a scale with this guy. So it's kind of like pick your poison. But like I said, try to be honest with you guys. I don't want to be like, oh, it's like the most perfectest, beautifulest figure ever. There's never been a better Kong. Like, yeah, the X Plus. I think the X Plus is a little bit more accurate, but it still works really solid. And then, like I said, for the accessories, you do get the tree with the broken branches. It's got the roots on the bottom. This thing is freaking huge. You can get him to grip it because the hands are very flexible. So you just kind of slot it in, just kind of work it into the hand. So you have him beating your skull crawlers with it, which I think is dope. I almost kind of would have wished, because there's this cut here, it would have been kind of cool to have a broken piece. So you could separate this and have it look like it's broken. So you can have it on your display look like you're smacking the skull crawler upside its head. That is something eventually I might try to make for the 3D printer shop. Is doing something like that. And then for the extra hands, you see on the figure, he does have a gripping hand. He has the open hand, which he does have the extra pair for the other side. Which all look really good. Oh, for me, I thought I saw like a print line there or something. But just the way the hands are sprinkled. And then he also comes with a pair of clenched fists, which were what was on the figure originally. And then gorilla walking hands. Which I'm trying to remember if I ever seen him walking like a gorilla in the movie. So like I said, I think I remember him being upright the entire time. It's mainly like GVK and Godzilla and GXK especially, because you see him like fully running and he's doing the gorilla run. Which I remember for those in Skull Island, if he was like that. I know he's probably like getting up and doing the knuckle thing, so it's definitely a nice accessory to have for it. But honestly, I don't even know what else could have really been. Could have the broken parts instead of those hands. That would have probably worked for me. But accessories, awesome. Articulation, awesome. Sculpt, maybe be a little bit better, but let's get on to the comparisons. And for some quick comparisons, here we have the Hiya Skull Island color compared next to some other Hiya Godzilla collectibles with the Skull Island Skull Devil and the Godzilla vs. Kong Kong, which I think, like I mentioned earlier, I kind of wish it just had this body just kind of scaled down with this head. And I think it'd be perfect. And here's some random cons in the collection with the Mezco Con and the Bandai Movie Monster Series GVK one. And here he is next to the NECA King Kong and the Hiya, the first release of the Heat Ray Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong. Except this one is custom painted. And here is some Peter Jackson Con figures with the SH Monster Arts Con, which is the only SH Monster Arts Con I still own, and the Reborn Vanilla Ice. And for some random comparisons of an upcoming review, we have it next to some other Monster Arts figures with the Gigan and Godzilla 1972. So overall for Mr. Skull Island Con here, I think it's a really great action figure. Comes with a lot of accessories at the price point. I don't think you're going to really get a better Skull Island Con figure. Now, did we say, is it perfect? No, there's a couple of sculpting details I think could have been changed a little bit on this to make it look more accurate to the way it did in the movie. But like I said, I think because of the way it's articulated, some of the sculpting decisions on this guy were compromised in order to make sure that the articulation works really well for it. And I think that is probably mainly where the big hang-up is for this guy. Like I said, I'm still super excited about it. Honestly, it's probably my favorite posable con figure I've gotten. Because the only other one I would say is probably the NECA. The NECA Con I really enjoy, but that is more like traditional, universal. Was it RKO? RKO Con? Well, this, I think, in terms of Monsterverse cons, is probably the best figure we've gotten. So if you guys haven't picked this up and would like to pick it up, again, link in the description for KowkisToys.com. Save 6% off your order using code SteveKowkis at checkout. They also have the Muto. I think it's actually coming out this month. So if you pre-order it now, again, you'll get that much sooner than any of the stateside places would. The Evolved Godzillas of this recording is now shipping, which again, hasn't showed up in stateside sites. And the Rodin's supposed to be coming out this month too. So a lot of stuff to look forward to. And we also got an Instagram, Patreon, TikTok, and Facebook. Guys, like keep up to date with channel, donate. Greatly would appreciate it. Help us to eat those kaijus by hitting the like button. Subscribe, become a ranger today. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.